Let's do this. What's happening, everybody? This is John Kitchens, and this is episode 68 of Expert Mentors Live. Super excited for today's episode. We've got Mr. Vincent Koo on, and man, we're going to talk growth by multiplication, attracting brokerages to your team, what I call AKA whale hunting. So make sure you guys have your notepad and pen. Of course, if you've got any questions, throw them in the Q&A or into the chat, and we'll definitely make sure that Vincent addresses everything that you guys have. And let's get after it. Vincent, man, say hello to the Honey Badger Nation, and let's rock and roll.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, John, for having me on. I'm super excited to share this stuff with you guys. I'm excited to be here, be a part of EXP Realty, part of the Honey Badger Nation. And yeah, it's been a wild ride so far. I think my official conversion was, or the official date that I joined was June 24th. I'd like to say I was number 20,000. So I'd like to hold on to that. And, I look back at 2018 and, what we've done as an office, we hired 189 new associates within that year. And, I think back on it and we really did that one at a time, and the amount of, it was really growth by addition, right? So, and the amount of time that it took, the amount of resources that it took, everybody had to go meet with the manager. Everybody had to be interviewed once, twice, sometimes 3 times. The pressure of the administrator having to get everybody signed up. It was just, it took so much of the energy of the office. And I wonder what if we could have done it a little bit better so that we could focus on, production, retention, culture, instead of really focusing on recruiting. Right. So I'm glad that now I have this opportunity with EXP and, we're able to kind of scale this thing a little bit quicker. And it's really been really exciting. So I think that we could probably beat 2018's numbers in 60 to 90 days. And yeah, and I can't even believe it because I didn't think it would be that fast coming into this thing. So I guess the first part of it was, I wanted to figure out who my ideal partner would be, my ideal business partner, right? Not the people, not the partners that I have now, but who would be the perfect partner, right? So I thought I definitely want somebody that knows the business, has been in it for a while, is growth minded. I thought that, I don't want to get somebody in and wait for them to ramp up to start having listings and sales. I wanted somebody with a pipeline already so that we could just switch it
with them. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted somebody that had a following so they could bring that following with them right away. And, it just kept pointing to the broker owners. And so the next part of that was, who do I have to be to attract these broker owners? Like, what do I have to do to get in front of them, to get their attention, but not only get their attention, to get them to follow me. And I came to the conclusion that I have to be the guide, right? I can't be the hero of the story because the hero is that broker, right? They're the ones that are, gonna consider this change for their organization. I'm just the person that's going to help them through this thing. Right. I'm the person that, hopefully they'll see me as somebody that has gone through the process. They'll see me as somebody that knows the answers or can get them the answers. Right. And somebody that could kind of take their hand, get them through this thing safely in one piece.
Right. Absolutely. And, man, a lot in there. And, for those of you listening in, it's just identifying who that ideal, we have our ideal clients that we love to work with. Who's that ideal agent that, team member who love to work with, and, identifying exactly who that is. That was fantastic. And, I think too, and I know you'll probably get into it, but, we talked a little bit before we went, we jumped on here with you guys, and, we went back to it, the belief. Right. And so it's like what you were sharing, I would love for you to share that for everybody else, because I think it's huge. And it's like, it's even, it's not believable, right, to some people. And, like, even if you showed, you know, how many agents that you guys have had, how many you've recruited since June 24th. And so like, it's just that believability. And so, man, talk through a little bit of that, the mindset and things that we talked about before we jumped on.
Yeah. So I was taught a long time ago that like attracts like, right? So you would think that top producers would attract other top producers, and teams would attract other teams, and brokers would attract other brokers. So people say to me, oh, the only reason why this works for you is because you're a broker, right? And the way that I've seen it unfold so far is a lot of the brokers that I've been able to attract into eXp Realty were introduced to me by other people in the organization, right? And sometimes they're not, at that same level. So I have an individual agent that has introduced me to 3 separate broker owners. Okay. The first person she introduced me to was the person that introduced her into the business years back. The second person she introduced me to was somebody in the neighborhood, another broker owner in the neighborhood. And she pretty much just cold called that gentleman and said, hey, my broker just made this move, and, he's looking for partners. Would you be interested in hearing some more? And the broker said yes. And next thing you know, he's with our group, right? And the third person she introduced me to was somebody that's looking to sell their business, kind of on their way out, but moving to another state and would probably be licensed in that other state. So, so far, 2 of the 3 are on board, and the third one, we've got follow-ups to do. In fact, they're on schedule today. Yeah,
and this was just a solo agent. She's just on the team, individual. She doesn't have a team. She's just part of your brokerage.
Yeah. And, I think she saw the opportunity, and, to me, it's about relatability, right? It's about how well, what you have in common. And she didn't really force it upon them. She wasn't there saying, hey, I'm going to help you transition everything over. What she did was she just piqued curiosity and kind of handed them off. And she was always there to support, and she was always there to say, hey, can I make another meeting? Can I answer any more questions? But, I was there to answer the questions, and I would also, leverage my guides, right? So I had, Gil Ramos, Carlos German, I had Jay Kinder, and, those guys were just, they were just kind of in my back pocket. I would just take them out every time I would need them.
Golly, man, that's a nugget for everybody. Hopefully you guys caught that, right? So the principles there were, is one, she believed in the product, right? She believed in the opportunity. She believed in the organization. And then she I love that. I'm going to use my guides. I'm going to use who I have in my upline. And you think about that. I mean, really, I was talking to Karen and Michael Foster this morning, and we were talking through who their guides were above them. And it's Kyle Whistle, it's Daniel Beer, it's Curtis Johnson, it's Chuck Fazio, it's Michael Reese, it's Jay Kinder, it's Al Stasek, right? And they were like, holy moly, look at our guides. You got to leverage them, man. You got to get them out of your back pocket, and you got to use them.
And the amazing thing is that everybody in this group, we all have that, that guide that we could just look up and find who's most relatable, and then put them together. Right. So, there's been broker owners of offices that are, a little smaller than in size, like 8 to 10. And I say, hey, I got the perfect person for you. Right. So I set up a call, a Zoom call with them, and, I put the perfect person on, I have them speak about it, and it just works really well. I'll tell you where I felt most related, was at that mastermind in Vegas. That's where I met you.
Right.
That whole room, that was like a room of relatability. I was in that room, and I was looking around, and I said, oh man, there's all these brokers that they've accomplished so much, and they're accomplishing things that I want to accomplish. So I related to that. And then I met, a lot of these agents, and I saw my associates in them. I saw what they were doing, what they were accomplishing, and I said, man, I want that so badly for my team, my group, and I know that they could do it, right? So I just need to kind of put them in front of those guys, and they'll get it. I know they'll get it, right? And I met all of these new people that I'm like following now, that like, you know, Tina and Gogo and Kyle, and you know, it, I'll tell you, if there was an event that, or you know, a moment that helped make my decision, it was that mastermind event. And you know what happened with that mastermind event is I was only exploring eXp Realty for 1 week before that event. And you know, Carlos and Gil, they said, hey, you got to be there. You know, you got to be there. I got a room for you. You know, so you have a bed. You just have to fly out there. The ticket, you know, we have the ticket for you. Just show up. And you know, I heard somebody say that major decisions are made at major events. Mm-hmm. And, you know, to me, that was a major event. I was around major people, and, you know, that's when the big decision was made.
How about that outside, and a lot of those happen outside of the room, right? Remember, I mean, standing there after that first day, we're standing there. I mean, you, Gene Frederick, Gil was there, Jay was sitting there. There were, you know, man, I was like just a fly on the wall, just loving this conversation. It was amazing. It was really, really powerful. And so I think, you know, that nugget, that takeaway there for all of you guys is get to the events, get to the big events. They're definitely so powerful. But the one thing that stood out, and I'm so glad you said this, man, because this is from the bottom of my heart, is that if you truly care about your people, and see, hopefully you guys caught that, right? What Vincent just shared with you guys is that he was thinking about his people when he was in that room. He was basing his decision off of what was best for his people. And so that I honestly believe that if you truly, you say you care about your people, but if you truly care about your people and what's best for them and taking care of them for the rest of their careers and adding value back to them, you owe it to them to look at this opportunity and really dissect it and take a hard look at it. Man, I'm so glad you said that. That was definitely one of my biggest takeaways from this episode.
Yeah. So I was at another major event. I was at Tony Robbins' Business Mastery for the second time just this last week. And I bumped into a young lady there that, you know, she said, hey, you know, have you coached with Mike Ferry? You look familiar, and you must know my team leader. And turns out I do know him, and I know that he's a part of EXP. And so then I realized she's a part of EXP. So now it was like a big, you know, family reunion all of a sudden. The next day, you know, she sees me from across the room. She calls out to me and she says, hey, you know, I need to introduce you to somebody. And she pulls along another young lady. And this other young lady is a broker, and she's a broker of an office and just puts in front of each other, like, you know, she was just like, here, talk. And she's like, you know, she knows about EXP, but she doesn't think that my team leader made a good decision in their move. And I said, wow, why? You know, like, and it was all about me finding out what her original motivation was. Like, why, you know, so I spent a little time. I said, you know, why are you a broker? Like, why are you setting up what you're setting up? And I feel like I've asked that with everybody that I've spoken to, and I get a bunch of different answers. You know, I get, you know, I love to teach. I love to add value. You know, some of them are like, hey, I was sick of paying my broker all the money that I've paid him, and I thought that was the only option to stop from paying them. Then I met some that said, you know, I don't expect to make a lot of money off the brokerage side of the business. I only see it as a lead, you know, leads for my other business, whether it be development or title or mortgage, you know, just something else. And, you know, whatever it was, the question is, you know, is like, how are you going to grow it to solve the problem that you initially opened it up for? Right? And will it solve that problem? Right. So really, what's the ultimate goal of having this brokerage in the long run? And when you build it out, is it really going to give you what you're looking for it to give you? right? I understand you're not looking for it to make much profit, right? You're okay with maybe a smaller profitability, but what if it's a loss? What if the liability is not worth it,
Right.
right? And are you building it to sell? Can you sell it?
Why are you building it? Why are you doing it? Right. Why are you putting all of this time and energy and effort into this? Um, before you move on, I got a thought of how to. I just want to get your feedback. Here, when you're identifying and talking to these brokers and these broker owners, and founding these organizations, how do you? I mean, have you met a lot of resistance with people that have this like, man, this is my baby and I've built it to this, and why would I join a brokerage when this is my baby?
Yes, definitely. I still do, and it takes a little bit of time, and I think that a lot of that has to be almost self-realized, right? And for me, I never really liked to be sold on anything, right? So if somebody stands in front of me and tries to sell me on something, I'll listen, but if I'm interested, I'm going to go back and do a lot of my own research. And I think that a lot of people that I've spoken to in the past, that's what they do. They go out there, they do a ton of their own research, and you almost have to put your ego in the back as the broker. And because I thought about that too. I said, hey, we built this thing, it's so big, and it's
Impressive.
and
Super
it's
impressive what
running.
you guys have done.
Right. And it's like, why? But I'll tell you, that curiosity opened so many doors too. Right. And people have used that curiosity to put other people in front of me. And it's worked very well. So some of these guys with fairly big offices, and one of my associates would say, hey, my broker did it, maybe you should just ask him why he did it.
Right.
And that's it. And they would connect us, and we would speak, and doors would open.
Man, that's really powerful, because I've seen that a lot, right? You have it driven, and truth be told, Vincent, this is why we overlooked it, right, in the beginning. And it was like, man, we're building this baby. We got this figured out, man. We're doing this partner thing. Why would we even want to look at that? Right. So, and it took us years, right? So I think that just because somebody's not receptive to it in the beginning, you got to catch them. We talk about, right, Gene shares all the time, the gate of the mind is got to be open. And so that's just what we're looking for, right? Is just when they're receptive, when the curiosity is there, and then just being able to be the guide. Be the guide, and
just really be there for them when they are receptive, right? You can't kick those gates open. But they are open. You want to make sure you're there and you're answer all the questions that they have and whatnot. And then there's always details, the troubleshooting. How do I, I'm sold. It makes a whole bunch of sense, but how does it fit into what I'm doing right now? So I've run into things like, tell me about the marketing that they do. And, what's nice is that when we have a listing here at EXP, you get 10 pieces that are emailed to you that are done for you, right? So what I've done is I've just screenshotted those and sent those out to the brokers, just kind of let them know that we have a solution for the marketing side of the business, right? I have brokers that say, hey, I just need to keep my space. My agents need to come in and have that space to be a part of. I don't want to be in the cloud. So we figured out a solution to that, and how to apply for a branch office, how to get it approved. We work with the state broker. So we kind of packaged that really well for the people coming in as well. Also team setup. And I think it's nice to, guest passes into the world are great, right? But I remember when I went in off of a guest pass, I was lost. I didn't know where to go. And you know what? I feel like I went in on a weekend too. So it was a ghost town.
Right.
And I said, what's going on over here? There's nothing's happening. It's not a real office. I I think it would be nice if, you could be the tour guide, or you set them up on that tour. Um, and the first time I really felt connected in the world was when I sat in front of somebody from what is it called, team management department or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Once I started communicating with them, it was such a natural communication. I felt like I connected, and I did. So, when one of these broker owners had a question, I said, "Hey, listen, get in your guest pass, use your guest pass, get in the world. I'll meet you there, and we'll sit down with, with the department that can answer your question together." Right? Because it was something that I didn't know. And I also wanted them to see the communication that happens, the interaction that happens, in EXP world. And I thought that worked really, really well.
It's really powerful to be able to, it goes back to the whole being their guide, being there for them, and really getting them into it's good. You got to get them in there, but you got to get them, see how it works, and getting them engaged and utilizing that. That's a great little nugget.
Yeah. I don't know. What other questions do you guys have?
And guys, tuning in, whatever questions, throw it in the chat, throw it in the Q&A. Definitely take advantage of Vincent while we have him here with us for this episode. What were some of the things that, you were evaluating it for your people? Kind of talk through how you went about making that decision. I think that'll give some insight to understanding, where people can, gain a little bit of clarity and maybe help them ask better questions.
Yeah. So I think that, for me, I just felt like we were kind of spinning our wheels as a brokerage, and from the outside, it looked like everything was great. You're growing every year. Production is increasing every year. But, personally inside, I just felt like I was doing the same things over and over. I wasn't really seeing some huge progress. And I didn't really see a way out in the future. And I didn't really need a way out. I mean, I'm young. I could be doing this for a long time, keeping it the way it is. But then I also saw the industry changing. So I wanted to be ahead of that. And, timing was really important for me. Being that the EXP is in its infancy right now, I still think, right? So I think that there's so much potential that could happen. And I wanted to just get on the right side of that wave and be able to ride that.
No, I love that. When you were looking there and, kind of forward, not feeling fulfilled, this is a new excitement, new energy. When you made the transition, I think this is a good thought, because I think brokers think that, hey man, I'm going to lose all my people if I make the move. I mean, how was it for you during the transition? Did you guys retain a majority of it? Kind of what was that process, or at least the thinking for you and the results?
Well, our situation was a little special because, there came a point where we were kind of forced into the transition by the franchise. And, if I had more of a runway, I would probably have retained a larger amount of the agents. So we came in with about half. And, there were some that we didn't want to have in the system. We wanted to kind of start fresh and start new. And it was a different mentality because the way that we used to grow before was, let's get a brand new agent. Let's pick them up. Let's train them. Let's teach them. And it took so long. And, our thought now is let's get people that are already active in the system. Let's get them excited about EXP, because what the company could do for their current business is so tremendous, and it's easier to show them that. So we kind of went that direction. I think I saw a question about opening approaches.
Yep.
Right. So we've done it a couple different ways. I do have a story where you get a lot of people that friend you on Facebook, right? And it's so easy to just click accept and that's it. You're done. Right. And hopefully you guys see each other's feeds and whatnot. I had a broker friend me on Facebook. I didn't even know that he was the broker of the office. I thought that somebody else was the broker of the office. And I checked out his profile Um, and I just started a conversation through chat, say, hey, thanks for the connection. I didn't know that you were the broker. I thought this other guy was the broker. And that just opened up, you know, just the ability to speak to him, and actually it's me. And I said, okay, by the way, I just made this move and I'm looking for partners to build my business with, would you be interested in exploring? And, he said, yes. We jumped on a call. I think I brought somebody else on that call. It's always about kicking it up. I don't think there's many of these things that I've closed by myself.
Right.
It's always somebody else's help, and it's just easier that way.
Don't try to be the hero, man. Just the guide. Leverage people, man. Get them to help you. Kelly's got another great question there. Just advice could you give to to agents actively doing lunch and learns? They're doing invites to the group calls, the PGPs and stuff like that.
So I have one experience with a PGP, and I think that really that's the way to go. I think it's more cost effective. It's quicker. It's still a personal invite. And I think, for everybody that's doing the lunch and learns or the PGP, I think the trick is to personally invite people to join, right? You can't email blast it out. You can't spam people. That doesn't work. If you invite them personally, they feel special, and that's what it is. But there's a right way to do the PGPs, and I imagine there's a wrong way. And what's nice is that we have training on that Facebook page, right? So if you just go back and look on how to introduce the person that's doing the PGP or invitation scripts, it's all there, right? So I'm not making it up. I'm just following what Mike set up for all of us.
Yeah, I know. And, it's, I think that's huge, right? Personally invite. It is relationship driven. I mean, as Jay and I've said that since day one, man, this is about creating and building a relationship. And so, definitely investing that time. We didn't do you justice when we jumped on the call. We just jumped right in. Andre was just kind of asking, give a little context about you and your story, the size of the brokerage. I know we threw it in kind of a little bit of a snapshot bio in the post, but just give some context so everybody can kind of get their head around, your upbringing, second generation coming in, and how you've grown, this amazing organization that you've grown, and where you're at too is even more impressive.
Sure. So, so mom and dad started a brokerage 30 some odd years ago. And I didn't want to be in the family business, kind of fell into it. Unfortunately dad got sick and in that year that he was ill and eventually passed away, that's when I came into the business. And that was, and they had an independent brokerage, a successful independent brokerage. And they actually had 2 locations and 45 agents, something like that, before we ended up going the franchise route. And that again was me seeing an opportunity and me seeing the timing of that opportunity and saying, hey, mom, this is what we have to do. And we joined Exit Realty, and it was fantastic. The timing was right. Nobody knew about Exit Realty and what it offered. There is single level residuals there. The commission split at the time were decent, probably higher than what the industry average was in our neighborhood. So it just seemed like a really good fit. And just, actually pretty similar to the transition now into eXp Realty, we didn't take everybody with us. We went from 45 to 18. And we built from there. And we actually had 2 locations. We closed one down because we weren't sure that it was for everybody. And, we didn't want to buy 2 franchises. So we closed one down. We moved everybody under one location and we built from there. And like I said, it was one at a time, 14 years straight. And we did very well with that. We ended up, opening a second office, opening a third office. But every time you had to do that, it was just, wow. Like I just look back and I can't believe how much we had to put in to get these locations open, up and running, and really providing and profitable. right? It just took so much time. It was so difficult. And now with EXP, it's just so easy. I mean, we've expanded into other states and we're speaking to so many different groups now,
Mm.
right? And
So, and before you made the move, you guys had, the 3 locations. Would you have about 300 total agents?
yeah, a little over 300 agents. Yeah.
Right. And you're in Manhattan, right? So like, where were the three markets that you were in?
I was in New York, so it was Manhattan, Queens, and Long Island.
Right.
Right.
Okay, cool. And so you still have the 3 different offices,
So
everything's there?
currently I do, and we have branch office applications in with Department of State, so that's moving along. And we want our agents to kind of see this as business as usual, but better business as usual
Right.
than usual, right? So, and that's what we've been seeing so far. Our agents are really enjoying the marketing. They're really enjoying the technology, and they're taking advantage of, connecting with other people within the world. And, it's just working out really nice.
Man, that's amazing. And I was like, just thinking through our transition, like we didn't have to move locations. I'm thinking when Jay and I went from Coldwell Banker to Independent, and
Mhm.
then when we had Kinder Reese, expert advisor, the partner, here, and man, just that whole transition. So yeah, man, it's definitely been a fun ride, and I know just the growth that they've had, at EXP just over the last 12 months, 18, 24 months. It's really, really exciting. And man, they are working super, super hard to just make it even better. And it's really, really exciting for sure. What's your total organization at right now?
I think I'm at, as of today, 178. And I probably have another 160 pending. So I'm just waiting for them to get through the system, be ready to announce. They wanted to set things up. I kind of announced a little bit early just because of my situation, and we're trying to set things up a little bit better now so that all is in place. And just being a little bit smarter about it. And so they learn from my mistakes and hopefully won't be making mistakes going forward,
Yeah. Yeah.
We all learn from each other. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And I mean, it was just a trait of a great leader. You're running in head first and, going to figure it out. That way you can take care of your people. And like I said, man, that's something I hope you guys listening in really take away is that, this is the best model if you really truly care about your people, and giving them the things to set up to take care of themselves in the future, moving forward. What other, tidbits of advice? Cause I really think, it's the limiting belief of being able to reach out to anybody if you really believe in this opportunity. Is there anything else on the mindset perspective, anything that, people that are kind of struggling with that self-doubt with, being able to, reach out to anybody, about this opportunity?
Oh man, just try it. And I think it's about using the angle that you're comfortable with, right? So maybe some people feel that it's not natural to say, "Hey, I want you to come and join this organization that I'm in." Instead of that, why not just say, "Hey, calling around the neighborhood and just say, hey, we want to unify all the offices, instead of competing against each other, and instead of being like, frenemies and whatnot. Let's go out there and join forces and really be aligned." And I found that worked pretty well. I was able to get some good conversations just calling around the new locations that we've opened up.
Man, that's gold right there. That's just, I started thinking through because I'm thinking of a particular individual that's really on the fence, and he's had these conversations with the other brokers and stuff in his marketplace. But man, why do we want to stop fighting each other? Let's unify this market and let's join forces and go get it. Man,
Yeah, so
that's
easy.
powerful.
It just makes so much sense, doesn't it? And it's
Yeah.
also about momentum too. I think there's a window of opportunity before you make that announcement, where you could really get the ear of some other broker owners that you know, right? So it's kind of like momentum, right? So if you get one person, you should be able to get another 3 or 4, right? All you have to do is kind of
Yep.
work through them, right? Find out who they know that they could bounce this opportunity off of, and figure out if you're making a mistake, a wrong move or something like that, or if they're open to hearing more. I'll tell you, we've been able to be in front of a few more owners just using that route.
No, I love that. What are you guys doing that you see that's working really well for just the continuous, follow up and nurturing, dripping on people? Like what are you guys doing to stay top of mind and keep nurturing them?
It's just through text and Facebook Messenger and phone calls every once in a while. What are we stuck on? Who do I need to put you in front of to get this question answered? Getting a logo approved. Before they make their final decision, like little things like that. It all helps.
Yeah, absolutely. JF was asking us here if he's got a buddy that has an independent agent brokerage of over 350 agents. He's talked to him a little bit about it. Nothing's really came out. Anything to how you would go about kind of approaching this situation?
Just like I think I learned this from that mastermind. It's kind of like, if I was able to get you on a call with some of the top guys in our in some of the leadership in our organization. I'm not sure if I could, but if I could, would you take that call? Would you take that conference? And I know that I got together on a conference with a huge brokerage, maybe that size, if not bigger. And man, there were so many people on that call. Like the presidents were on that call, and all the leadership was on that call. So it really felt like everybody was pulling in the same direction. And I think that if they were able to see that, it would kind of loosen things up a little bit. But the biggest thing, if you have somebody there that would be interested, get them to Vegas, get them to that next mastermind event. Big decisions are made during big events, right? And if you think about it, think about the cost of what it would be to like put that person up and get a hotel room, because I know that somebody else in the system has joined because of that, because he was told, hey, I'm going to Vegas for a mastermind event. I forgot what it was. And I've got your hotel room and just come. And he said, throw in a show and I'll be there. And he attended, and that was one of the deciding factors.
Done. Yeah, that's definitely fantastic. Getting them in on any of those calls. If I would you get them on any of those calls, leadership wise, anybody that, like you said, that they can, whoever it is that they can relate to, right? Same situation. Mm-hmm. How did you do it? I can relate with you. Get them to the right guide. The one I heard is, just when you're thinking about like getting them on with Jay or somebody, if I could get you on a call with, one of the influencers that has been responsible for the exponential growth of EXP over the last couple of years, would you get on that call? And just if I would you, man, that's just constantly just the continuous inviting. I love the guide comparison. Finding a guide that's relatable to them. Remember, you're a guide, you're not a hero. Those are all some really, really powerful distinctions and takeaways for everybody in their thinking, in their agent attraction moving forward.
I think that the PGP actually serves a really good purpose, because I heard somebody else say this recently. When you have a one-on-one conference call, there's a lot of pressure on both parties, because it's kind of like questions and answers. It's a back and forth, right?
Right.
But during the PGP, it's cool because they get to sit back and be, a fly on the wall and just kind of listen in on some of these things. And it's a lot easier It's not about showing up at a lunch and learn and being seen by everybody. You know, I'm sure you could be anonymous and just get in on one of those calls and just get the information that you want to get.
Yep. 100%. Right. You can still, you're not ready to jump out there on stage with everybody. It's just kind of still, you're going through your due diligence process. It's a great point. Great point. I love the man. Hey, let's get your logo approved. See what any changes would have to be made. That's a gangster move.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, we've got this, we've got this guy's card approved, his logo approved, before he's even approved, just to see. And that was what's important to him. He said, hey, I've built this and it's my identity and I want to keep that identity. I don't want to look like I just, gave into something else. And I said, we're so for that, so we went down that road.
That's powerful right there, man. I'm glad that surfaced because that's the broker owner mindset. This is my baby. This is my identity. I built this. I'm proud of this, and you're going to take they think it's not true, but they think, man, you're going to take that's going to be taken away from me. And they just don't understand that it's enhanced. It's still them. They will never take their identity. So that's key. And, when you're thinking through particular brokers, what is the situation? What is the story going on in their head, right? That's their situation. And you've got to be the guy that helps them solve that particular problem. And knowing that that's one of them is huge. That's huge. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Any kind of parting words for the folks? Man, I think we hit them with the fire hose like always, which is, I love our expert mentor series and we just, it's really about tapping into the horsepower of the Honey Badger Nation and really just adding value. It's really, like you said, unify all forces, man. We're stronger together and we're growing stronger each and every day. And we've got a group of just badasses and that just love to give back. No different, man. I greatly appreciate you taking the time and adding massive value on a particular area that I know a lot of folks struggle with and how to go about it. But any kind of parting words or thoughts as we wrap up this episode for everybody?
Just that we have everything that we need in the organization that we have right now. Okay. So it's not, nothing is missing. All we have to do is just, look up, reach up and say, hey, give me a hand with this. And, everybody that I've asked help from, I've received help from. And, it's been really amazing. And I think that everybody would experience that. All they have to do is ask.
That's it, man. Just ask. Well, I appreciate you again. Appreciate you guys jumping on and, yeah, just like Vincent shared, if you need anything from us, that's what we're here for. That's what we wake up and love to do each and every day. So, brother, I appreciate you. I can't wait to see you next week in Vegas. Hopefully see a lot of you tuning in Vegas as well. You guys keep after it, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.